Hello, Bat fans, and welcome to another Bat review by me, Chris Cobb. Today I'll be taking a look at the Season of Infamy DLC for Batman Arkham Knight. Let's dive on in, shall we? As you can see, Season of Infamy takes place in the free roam world instead of an Arkham episode. Rocksteady simply added a new menu to the Most Wanted screen, allowing you to manage the new missions.
Batman, that crazy son of a bitch Jervis Tetch just walked into the precinct and handed himself in. He says he's taking hostages, wants to talk to you.
First up is Mad Hatter, who seems to think he can trick the Dark Knight for some reason. Cockier than ever, he forces Batman to go out and rescue a couple of Gotham's endlessly bumbling cops who are stuffed inside of their own cruiser's trunks.
There's a hostage in the trunk, but the car's wired to blow. I'll need to defuse the explosive first.
As if that weren't bad enough, Hatter makes them wear some of his Alice in Wonderland character masks, which he apparently buys in bulk.
The Queen of Hearts and Roses Red. Oh, be careful, Alice, or she'll have your head.
Night returns, all filled with malice. Tell me, Batman, did you find your Alice?
Mad Hatter is one of those villains who've benefited most from Rocksteady's games, unlike poor Bane, because they really highlight his creepy, obsessive nature. It also helps that his mind control tech causes some of the most memorable moments in this series. So if you've been wanting more of that, hold on to your butts. This one is especially nice. Rocksteady went all out with this mission, creating an awesome pop-up storybook environment with cel-shaded enemies. This is undoubtedly one of my favorite moments from the Arkham series so far. Next, Batman needs to look into the League of Shadows, after they reappear in Gotham following their leader's demise.
Well, I presume it's the League, sir. The reporting officer's precise words were, and I quote, crazy-ass ninjas.
This mission was disappointing just because it features everybody's favorite aspect of Batman games, crime scene investigation. And it pretty much has you chasing blood. And it goes on and on. You chase a trail of blood. Still trace a trail of blood. Still chasing this trail of blood. And this goes on for a while. But then we get to some ninja action, and I'm like, okay, this started off horribly, but it's looking up now. Ninjas. So I kicked some ninja ass for a while, and it was great. I mean, look what I did here. It was freaking awesome. They keep coming at me, I keep throwing them around, having fun, and then we're back to chasing a trail in the Batmobile this time, the vehicle I hate most. Nice. It does eventually pick back up, and DC Comics readers, or just fans of the Arrow TV show, will be treated to an unexpected character appearance. This mission also ends with you having to make a moral choice, which was an especially nice touch.
Bruce, you've got a problem. A big one. You heard of Iron Heights, the prison airship? Yeah. Well, it just fell out of the sky.
Third at bat is Killer Croc, who single-handedly brought down an airborne prison blimp. Yeah, that's apparently a thing, making it crash into the Gotham harbor. You navigate the twisted wreckage while rescuing prison personnel, all while keeping an eye out for Killer Croc. He shows himself soon enough, freshly mutated and on his way to being as terrifying as Barney the Dinosaur. Except Barney the Dinosaur is really on a whole nother level, so he's got some catching up to do.
Waylon Jones must be apprehended.
Let this place sink and everyone with it. You got no idea.
This leads into a team-up with Nightwing, and that is always a blast whenever it happens. I won't spoil where the story goes afterward, but it's actually a pretty tragic tale and adds more depth to the Arkham Croc. More than we've gotten thus far, anyway.
Oh, this'll be too easy.
Lastly, there's Mr. Freeze, who sadly still isn't voiced by Schwarzenegger. He seems to be causing some problems out in his ship, and you know who has to investigate. Whereas the other missions took right around 30 minutes each to finish, this one was only 10. That may or may not be because of a glitch that occurred where all enemies fell into nothingness after a measly punch. Unintentional hilarity aside, this mission was always going to be the shortest regardless. It seems to be here just to tie up a loose story thread, and that's fine by me. I mean, Freeze gets more time in the spotlight, and that's always a good thing for a villain this compelling. Although Season of Infamy was the prime DLC advertised for the Season Pass, it doesn't live up to the already minimal hype. Lasting a little more than an hour and a half total, it's much shorter than expected considering the number of iconic villains involved. The stories, which are actually pretty good on their own, also take place during the main Arkham Knight story, rather than taking place afterward. Rocksteady seems really determined not to elaborate on that weird ending, which ends up making these missions feel like they were cut or held back from the original release, whether or not they were. That's not entirely a bad thing, though. As much as the blood trails bothered me, at least these missions were more than just linked together challenge rooms like the Arkham episodes. Season of Infamy feels like an extension of the main game. In terms of comics, this would be a tie-in issue to the main event. Overall, it gets a 7.0 out of 10 from me. It's good, not great, but not terrible either. Certainly better than the Arkham episodes in terms of story and content. Its biggest sin is the fact that my very final moments in Rocksteady's Batman saga were spent in one more awful tank battle. Because of course they had to sneak one more in there.
Master Bruce, I hoped it would never end like this.